Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into some pretty interesting today.
Oh, yeah.
This time we're going to be looking at the connection between uh, the soil and the human gut.
Hmm.
And we've got some research that suggests that, modern life is really disrupting this ancient bond.
Right.
And the implications of this are,
Yeah, they're pretty amazing, actually.
yeah,
The extent to which our gut health really influences us is incredible.
yeah,
Like the idea of the gut as like a second brain, like
Eli.
it influences our thoughts and our feelings and our
Yeah,
stability even.
that's a big claim.
It is.
Yeah.
And the source even goes so far as to say,
Okay,
you know,
lay it on me.
you are who you are. Not that I want you to be, but a lot of who you are, how you think, how you feel, levels of stability and equanimity, all of that is determined by what happens in your gut.
So that begs the question, though, like, what's the connection with the soil then?
Right. So this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
There's this ancient yogic principle about eating food
Yeah.
that's grown within a day's walking distance.
Okay.
And it makes you wonder if that's connected to this idea of local seasonal foods being so beneficial.
Yeah, what's the science behind that?
So that's where the soil microbiome comes in.
Okay.
There's so much microbial activity in the soil.
Right.
It's just like this teeming ecosystem with bacteria and fungi and all these microorganisms that are breaking down organic matter and
Releasing nutrients?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So are you saying that our gut is kind of like that?
It does
Like
that.
a teeming ecosystem?
Yeah, like a bustling city with all these microbes.
Wow.
The source actually describes the gut as like a chemical factory
Hmm.
where the food we eat is like the raw material
And so the quality of the food affects the quality of the...
of the environment inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how does soil fit into all of this?
So this is where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
The source suggests that when we eat food that's grown in the soil that we're connected to, the land that we live on, it creates a more harmonious relationship between our gut microbiome and the environment.
Oh, wow.
It says the kind of food that you eat, if it is from the land that you stand upon, you have a certain relationship with it.
So it's like we're ingesting microbes that are already adapted to our local environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this sense of balance
Okay.
and synergy between our internal ecosystem and the outside world.
Wow.
Yeah.
But then that raises a big question.
Yeah.
What happens when we disrupt that connection? Because most of us aren't living on farms.
Right.
We live in urban environments.
Exactly. We've paved over everything,
Right.
sanitize everything. We're totally disconnected.
And you brought up an interesting point earlier
Yeah.
about that ancient yogic principle.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying that they knew this back then?
Well, it's fascinating to consider
Yeah.
that they might have understood that connection to the local soil was important for their mental and emotional well-being, not just their physical health.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It makes you wonder.
it really does.
So what can we do then to start reestablishing that connection?
Well, the source really emphasizes the healing power of soil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they even go so far as to say that it holds countless remedies for our ailment.
We sterilize everything.
We do.
Yeah, we're afraid of dirt.
We're at war with microbes.
Right.
Yeah, and the source is saying that soil is the foundation of life.
Okay.
It's what nourishes us.
Mm-hmm.
And they use this powerful image.
Oh, I love a good image.
A pot made of soil, a painting made of soil, a human body that came out of the soil. It's all the same soil.
Wow. So we're literally made of the same stuff.
We are.
That's incredible.
It is.
So how do we start to, practically speaking,
Wow.
how do we reconnect?
Spending time in nature,
Yep.
even just a few minutes a day,
All right.
can make a big difference.
Give me some examples.
Walking barefoot on the grass,
Yeah?
sitting under a tree,
Mhm.
feeling the wind on your skin. Just small things to reconnect with the earth's energy.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, of course, the food we eat.
Yeah.
Choosing locally grown food is a good start.
Yep.
Farmers markets are great.
Yeah.
And if you have the space, try growing some of your own food.
There's something so grounding about gardening.
There is.
Just getting your hands dirty.
And there's research that shows that exposure to soil microbes can actually improve mental health.
Wow.
Yeah,
So what you're saying is
I am.
it's not just about eating healthy or exercising.
It's not.
It's about connecting with nature.
It is.
It's about belonging to something bigger than ourselves.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think that's really at the heart of what we try to do here
Absolutely.
on the deep dive is explore these systems and help people to make informed choices
Yeah.
for themselves and for the planet.
Exactly.
So what else is there to explore in this source?
Well, we haven't even gotten to the part about how our brains are the problem yet.
Oh boy.
That's a good one.
Our brains are the problem.
Yeah, they're a real problem,
Oh, okay.
according to the source.
All right. I'm intrigued. Let's get into it.
It's about shifting our perspective. We think of ourselves as so separate from nature, but this source is saying we're not.
Right.
Like our brains are the problem.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Yeah, they say our brains are a serious problem
Okay.
because we haven't really figured out how to manage them yet.
Well, that's true.
Our minds are constantly going
Yeah.
bombarded with stimulation.
That's the modern world.
It is, and it leads to so much stress and anxiety.
But we were talking about how the gut can influence our thoughts. So is that the key
It could be.
to managing our crazy brains?
What if taking care of our gut health
Yeah.
could actually help us manage all those racing thoughts, all that mental chatter?
And wouldn't that be amazing?
It would.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to that yogic principle.
Oh, yeah. The food within a day's walk.
Exactly. Like maybe they knew something we're just starting to rediscover.
Like they understood that connection to the local soil was vital.
For everything.
Yeah.
Not just our physical health, but our mental and emotional well-being too.
It's like these ancient practices are validating modern science.
I know, it's so cool.
So how do we actually start to reconnect with the soil?
Well, the source talks about the incredible healing power of soil.
Okay.
They really want us to rethink our relationship with dirt.
We do have a kind of a dirt phobia, don't we?
We do. We sterilize everything.
Yeah.
Antibacterial soap everywhere.
They're afraid to get our hands dirty.
Exactly. And they're saying that soil is the foundation of life.
All
It's
right.
what sustains us.
Right.
And they use this really beautiful image.
I love a good image.
They say a pot made of soil, a painting made of soil, a human body that came out of the soil. It's all the same soil.
It's all the same stuff.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah,
So we are literally made of earth.
we are.
Okay, I'm convinced now. How do we actually do this?
Well, they suggest some pretty simple practices.
Okay.
Spending time in nature,
All right.
even a few minutes a day.
Give me an example.
Walking barefoot on the grass.
Yeah.
Sitting under a tree. Just feeling the wind on your skin.
I could do that.
Yeah.
What about the food?
Right.
How do we get those soil microbes into our system?
Choosing locally grown food.
Okay.
Farmers markets are great for that.
Yeah.
And if you can grow some of your own food,
I do love gardening.
it's so grounding.
It is.
Yeah.
Just getting your hands in the dirt.
There's something about it.
So we're not just talking about what we eat,
No.
but it's like a deeper connection with nature.
Absolutely.
Like a sense of belonging
Exactly.
to something bigger than ourselves.
I think that's what this source is really getting at.
I think you're right.
It's about that interconnectedness,
Yeah.
realizing that our well-being is tied to the health of the planet.
That's a beautiful message.
It is.
And I think it's at the heart of what we do here on the Deep Dive.
Totally.
Exploring these connections and helping people make informed choices.
For themselves and for the world.
Exactly. There's this part in the source where they talk about how disconnected we are from the soil.
Oh, yeah, like with the high heels.
Yeah, like people walking around in high heels,
Totally separated from the ground.
completely cut off.
And there are people who think they come from other planets.
It's funny, but it's also kind of sad.
It's like this real disconnect.
And then you have people paying to hug cows.
Yeah, that one's
What
interesting.
do we make of that?
I think it shows how much we crave that connection with the earth.
Like we know something's missing.
Yeah, and we're trying to find it in weird ways.
It's like that grounding thing we were talking about.
Right, the earthing.
Yeah, the source says it helps to neutralize those positive charges in the body.
The ones that make us feel anxious and restless.
Yeah.
Because the earth has a negative charge.
Uh-huh.
And when we touch it, we can discharge all that excess positive energy.
It's like we're constantly plugged in with all our devices and
And
everything.
we need to touch the earth to like literally ground ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
So you're saying that some of our modern stress could be from this lack of grounding?
It's definitely possible. And the source points out that this isn't a new idea.
Oh, really?
Yogis have been doing this for centuries.
Oh, wow.
Lying on the floor without any insulation to connect with the earth's energy.
And when I feel stressed, I always go for a walk in the woods.
Me too.
It's like our bodies know what's good for us.
They do. It's like they remember what our minds have forgotten, that
Mhm.
we're a part of nature.
And we need that connection to feel whole.
Exactly.
So what can we do to bring this into our everyday lives?
The source talks about walking barefoot,
Okay.
gardening, even
Mhm.
just sitting on the ground for a few minutes each day.
Simple thing.
They can make a big difference.
And they mentioned that rural children have fewer allergies.
Yeah, much lower rates than kids in cities.
So it's like our environment really does affect our health.
It totally does.
But we can't all just move to the countryside.
Right. But we can try to bring more nature into our lives.
Whether it's spending more time outside, or growing our own food.
Or even just taking off our shoes and walking on the grass.
It's about finding that balance.
Between modern life and the natural world.
Yeah.
And realizing that our well-being depends on it.
Well, that was a fascinating deep dive.
It really was.
We learned so much about the connection between our gut and the soil.
And how important it is to reconnect with nature.
Yeah, and I love that quote from the source.
Which one?
You are what you eat.
Right.
But maybe it's more accurate to say, you are what your gut bacteria eat.
I like that.
It's like a reminder that we need to nourish our gut bacteria.
With good food and a connection to nature.
Yeah. So go out there,
Get your hands dirty,
reconnect with the earth.
and discover the power of this ancient connection.
And until next time, fellow deep divers.
Stay curious.